So, what is your vision as the new head football coach at West Florence High School?
Yeah, well, the first thing that we want to do always is what everybody kind of knows, and that's on the scoreboard. We want to do things over time. It might not happen this year, but we want to do things over time that maybe West Florence hasn't been able to accomplish yet. We want to win state championships, and we want to do things that the other two schools at Florence at different points in their history have been able to do. And obviously, West Florence has been really good, but there hasn't been quite as many state championships and things like that. And so that's what we want to do over time. But the number one thing is always teaching kids how to be better men through winning. If you win on the football field, I'm a firm believer the same lessons that you use to win on the football field, you can take and win in life. And so that's the number one thing ultimately.
Sounds good. So what are your expectations and goals for the Knights at West Florence High School this year?
Yeah, I guess I touched on a little bit long term. This year, we've got to continue to grow and get better. We have a lot of really, really young kids. West Florence graduated a really good senior class last year, especially at the skill positions, wide receivers, corners, running backs. They had a really, really good group of seniors at those positions. So we're really trying to develop and bring along a lot of those younger kids, and they've got to catch up. We do have maybe a smaller group of talented seniors, but they're going to need some help, and we've got to continue to instill toughness and continue to develop those young kids so we can have a good year.
Thank you. Having won a state championship at Oceanside Collegiate Academy, do you have a plan to replicate that type of success at West Florence?
Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely the plan. We every place is different, right? So I've been fortunate. We've been good at every place I've been. Oceanside was the only one where we actually were able to get over the hump, through my coaching career. But we'll take a lot of those same lessons, and that's just attention to detail, playing with an extreme level of urgency and toughness and a desire to win. And again, I think that those things will translate to the kids as people too. So yeah, we 100% are grinding every day to get to that point. Like I said, it might not be this year, or whenever it's going to be, right? But that's what we're going to build towards every year.
Sounds good. So have the players been receptive to your style of coaching and expectations?
Yeah, for sure. I think that we were, I was able to kind of get into the school building last spring and start building a lot of relationships. We were still hiring assistants and things like that. And for a first year coach, it's always going to take time. Everything's going to take time. Same thing with assistants. We were still hiring assistant coaches in, a few of them in June, right? So, they don't have as much of a runway as the kids next year. The kids who are coming to us as ninth graders now, will be their only coaches through their whole career, right? So, it obviously takes time, but being in the school building earlier this spring, I was able to really build a lot of relationships, and I worked really hard on a lot of the older kids who were coming back on their recruiting and taking them to camps and taking them on college visits and doing all those things. And, we had a couple of them play on a 7-on-7 team that we would go watch them play as they traveled different places. So yeah, we were building relationships with players and families too. The parents are important too.
Okay. So what challenges do you anticipate from moving from Class 2A, lower division, and to 5A, which is the largest in the state?
That's right. Yeah, it's different for sure. There's more players. I think that towards the end at Oceanside, we got up to where we were at maybe around 90 players or so in that ballpark, whereas at West Florence we have over 100. So we were getting close to that for sure at Oceanside. So it's not just totally different, right? It's football, still football, but there are more things to manage, more things off the field to manage, more laundry to do, right? Like all those kinds of things that nobody really thinks about, more parents to stay in contact with, more, just more of a lot of the logistical things. We travel with 2 buses and all those things, like all those different logistical challenges, I would say are the biggest thing. Once we're on the football field, football's football, so it's really all those things, but it's an adjustment. We've got a great support staff with Principal and Principal Leroy and Coach Johnson, the athletic director. They do a great job of really allowing us to try to focus on football as much as possible.
Sounds good. Well, thank you. And
thank you so much. I appreciate it.